Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Invite Me In podcast show. This is Dr. Jocelyn Taylor.
Hello.
My lovely wife, Brittany Taylor Brock, and I'm
Hi.
Jonathan Brock. Welcome. This is where experience and passion heal. Folks, today we're getting right to the nitty-gritty. We want to talk to you about something that is still a scourge and is still an awful, nasty truth for anybody listening.
Nasty.
Absolutely nasty.
Are you ready?
Absolutely
This is nasty.
And we're tired of it. We are tired of this.
This should have been wiped off the earth many, many years ago, but it's still there.
And it's more sophisticated
What are we
than
talking
ever.
about?
We're talking about bullying, friends. Bullying, the nasty truth that it is.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing we want you to know. Bullying lives in secret. It's where it thrives. But when we bring it out into the open, like we're doing today, and when you can, it loses its oxygen and it starts to wither away and die.
It dies.
You know?
Well, my frustration
Yes.
is that bullying has been around so long. Why haven't we solved it? We've had anti-bullying campaigns. We've been scolded to not bully. Our mummies told us that we don't bully.
Yeah.
I was bullied by my brothers, and my dad would get
Yeah.
mad at them and give them a whop. Maybe,
Here's the thing,
maybe that
though.
We get
bully-
reactive.
It's
Yeah.
become bullying. I mean, that's still there. That kind is still there, but it is far more elusive and sophisticated.
Oh, what do you mean?
Than ever.
It's much more sophisticated
Yeah.
and much more networked. And we can't be fooled that bullying has been resolved. It's not been resolved.
No.
In 2023, bullying has evolved, and we're tired of it. We're tired of it for ourselves.
And you're saying it's evolved because it's more sophisticated.
it's more sophisticated. Here's
Evolved into a
what do
black
we mean?
yeah.
creature of the night.
Here's some examples that maybe you haven't considered about bullying in today's world that are prevalent and popular. They're forms of bullying. Anytime you make someone uncomfortable and do something they don't want to do or agree with, it's bullying. Think about it. So
But
today,
that's always been bullying.
It's
tell
always-
me, tell me what is more sophisticated than it used to be.
let's
Okay.
let's talk about bullying now.
Like gaslighting.
Gaslighting.
That's
Yeah.
a big one.
That
Cancel-
is a big one.
cancel culture.
Wait a minute. Let's stay on gaslighting. I
Gaslighting.
hate it when my bosses used to gaslight me.
Tell me.
Tell me. Okay, well, say they would say one thing and do another and say, no, I made that clear to you. This is what I said.
Yeah, yeah.
And in my mind, I was thinking, no, that isn't what you said. But because I was the employee and had to be compliant, that's what gaslighting is. It makes you feel crazy.
Yeah.
Gaslighting is it's not some new term. People are just starting to recognize it in a lot of people more, and it's been on forever. Gaslighting, the cancel culture, yes, is bullying.
I was canceled.
We've all been canceled in
said
some
on
way.
Twitter?
Yeah.
I said a little too much on Twitter, and I was canceled.
Yeah.
I didn't think I should have been canceled,
Your
but
free
I
speech
was.
got bullied.
That was not cool.
No.
I didn't know what to do
no,
with myself.
No.
Oh,
How about how
pardon
about
me.
things like today, like race baiting or
yeah.
moral signaling? Or all the stuff
Well,
that happens.
there are some groups who believe that they have the right to tell everyone else what the moral standard is. So
right.
that is moral signaling. I
what
get
about
that.
social contagion?
Oh, absolutely.
Social contagion?
We have to follow a trend, and if we don't, we're bad. We're getting bullied into believe what we want to or not.
And so
Yeah.
the trends that come out on social media, looking at kids, they spend so much time and they get so much information from social media. And if that information is trending in a negative way, that would be the social contagion.
Absolutely.
It's dangerous.
One of the
Yikes.
things we want to talk about today, folks, is it is a problem. We're going to talk about who the bullies are in our society that you may not think about or recognize. And then we're going to talk about 5 steps that we can actually take, get back to the basics of how to resolve this, or at least approach it, that maybe we don't think about either. We're going to talk about those later and give you some tools to walk away with to start addressing bullying in your life. So here's a question. Has the bullying at the family level, the organization level, society, social media, politics, whatever, is this rolling destructive snowball? Is it become too big to fix now? Is bullying too big to fix?
Well, it is overwhelming when we talk about how prevalent it is and when we talk about how sophisticated it is. But my thing has always been go back to basics. What are in the
Yeah,
basics that we can
reinforcement.
use? Reinforcing, punishing, we reinforce by paying attention to it. We
Choice and
punish
accountability.
by
Choice and
ignoring it.
Yeah. Or I'm sorry, but I love anti-bullying programs. There's been some good ones, but they
don't work.
They're not consistent
Because they don't understand social media and the power of social media. Because old people who write these programs don't use social media.
they don't. Or what about
It's-
What about parents in a home?
Well, and parents
How
don't
do
use social media like they should.
Can I have a question?
Yeah.
All right.
Have either of you been bullied?
Extremely. What about you
Yes.
guys? At all kinds of levels.
Would anyone want to share?
I can think of an example. I can think of a huge example.
Please share it.
Well, for example, like talked about our last podcast, I've been bullied for our religion, for my faith. I've been bullied by colleagues. I've been bullied by friends. I've had several experiences where my name has been dragged through the mud undeservedly. That's bullying. It's people exerting control over you because they don't like something, or they're jealous, or they're really coming from a place of a need for shame and control. Every bullying experience I've had, it's all the bullies or the group has been because a power imbalance of some
So
kind.
that's really interesting.
It's what it is.
I have a bullying story that absolutely shocked me. I took a new job. I had been with the State Office of Education, and I took a new job. I was recruited because they felt like I had certain skills and talents. I went into that job with my whole heart and soul, and I was given an assignment, and I worked so hard on it. It ended up being fabulous, but it was not received well. It was like,
How did you get
Why-
bullied? What happened?
they didn't want to use it. Who told you to do this? I had this lovely booklet, and I had done the research. I had done what I was supposed to do. Who told you to do this? We're not going to follow this. Who do you think you are to give us this information?
Right.
It was the most bizarre situation bizarre professional situation I had ever been in.
Your experience.
I felt
yeah.
like that was bullying.
It was bullying.
Yeah.
It was bullying, Jocelyn.
Because they were jealous and
Yeah.
they were being told to do some things that I, the new person, was telling them to do, but I
Sure.
was following an assignment.
Absolutely.
I just went a little overboard on it.
You remind us.
Have
as
you ever known me to go overboard on
No,
anything?
Absolutely.
not at all.
Not one time ever. Everyone's just even keel and cool. Jocelyn, I'm just kidding. Jocelyn,
Thanks for sharing, you guys.
as you shared
Yeah.
that, Brittany, what do you think about that? As Jocelyn's sharing that, what came to mind is, again, bullying is about control and
Oh,
a power
yes.
imbalance. Anytime people want to exert control or power over somebody, it's usually
Yeah.
stemmed in bullying.
Okay, so we know it's become more sophisticated.
Than ever. Ladies,
And you
yeah.
know that my take on this is go to basics. So I want to understand the different personality types and the different roles and responsibilities that are in that bullying interaction.
Well, let's do that. And that place, the starting place for that is let's talk about who the bullies are in society that you may or may not recognize.
Like the network of bullies?
Not the network yet.
Okay,
We'll talk
okay.
about the network here in a minute. There's a whole network of bullies that a bully has, okay? We're going to talk about the types of bullies that exist that you may not recognize. Not by name or people, but just by role. Did you know that family members can bully each other?
Oh, yeah.
Heck
we
yes.
said
Spouses
that.
bully each other. Children bully each other. Kids can actually bully their families and bully their parents. Workplace bullying. Pick an environment. Pick a business. Pick an organization.
There's church bullying.
There's church
with
bullying.
the moral signaling.
my
I
gosh.
never do that.
Right. That's
But
bullying.
the Taylor kids are always doing that. That was said to me in a meeting out loud.
Yeah. How about politics?
Yeah.
Where do we even
politics,
start there?
Well, I think that's why I got banned from Twitter because I was revealing my politics and my strong opinions on
It was
it.
like, I got something to say.
I did, and I
got
said it, and I got banned.
Which reminds us, if people don't like what they hear, right? If there's something they don't like, right? They can even bully back.
Yeah,
You know, one of the
yeah.
points, friends,
No,
is
I didn't bully anyone though on Twitter. I would never do that.
you make
She totally did.
I did not.
freedom of speech is good.
All right, let's
But-
get to.
But yes,
We're not going to talk about my bullying people on Twitter.
there's the who. There's different types of bullies. It's not just the image you see in your mind of the playground kid who's bigger than another kid. Come give me your lunch money and beats them up. Bullying is sophisticated. It happens everywhere. We see it in in church, we see it in work, we see it even in
Yeah, we've-
friendships, and it's destroying people's self-worth. And bullying is destroying. It's slowly eroding away at a person, like a river being eroded away at, or just something slowly dripping on a stone over a million years. It erodes you, erodes your self-dignity.
So I'm anxious
Yeah.
to get to what we can do about it. Brittany promised to talk about the network.
Yeah, let's talk about the network.
The network.
Maybe you haven't thought about this.
So the bullying
Yeah.
network, there's 8 members of the network that you don't realize.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
typically
they have
we
different
might see,
roles
yeah,
and responsibilities.
because
right?
typically, like, let's take the example of maybe a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Something very traditional.
Fighting.
Fighting, right?
Like
you
fist
may
fighting.
you may just see, oh, it's the victim and the perpetrator, right? The victim and the bully, but actually there's
Yeah.
a total of 8 who are involved in this.
Okay, so you
obviously
have
you
a
have
victim.
the victim,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
and they are likely to be someone with few friends,
Okay.
loner, maybe having difficulty with social communication skills.
Yeah.
Low
yeah.
self-esteem,
Low
that people can
self-esteem.
pick up on and exploit. Yeah.
Yes, and
Yeah.
then you have the bully.
The bully.
Who is just that.
Yeah.
They always start and take an
And he
active part.
seems like he's always in trouble. But that's a signal that he needs to have some intervention or some attention.
Yeah, folks.
Sometimes we
yeah.
just go to the victim and we say, "Are you okay?"
We want to punish. We want to
need
punish
to
the
go-
bully, but
well,
they
he
have.
needs to
yeah.
be understood. He needs some
He or
counseling
she, the
of some
bully,
kind.
the bully is a human, and like we talk about, it comes from a point of a power imbalance, and the bully
Yeah.
the bully needs that power imbalance because they have shame, and they have a need for control.
Okay, so who helps the bully?
So then we have the follower henchman.
Ooh, that sounds like Rip Wheeler.
Yes, it does.
Did you guys realize there's a network of bullies? Right, a bully is a network. This is fascinating stuff.
So the henchman, what does the henchman
So
do?
they don't start
They
it.
don't start
right?
it, but they
But
take an active role.
Yeah, but they,
Yeah.
so they may, so say the bully starts kicking them and they may come in and start yelling at him or whatever, right? The henchman. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. They're the henchmen. They're
Yeah.
they're the sidekick. They're the
follower
right hand
henchman.
man or woman or person
So they're
of the bully.
helping the bully. If the bully started by kicking,
Yeah.
then the henchman is going to come in and kick.
Yep.
If the bully started by calling names, then the henchman will come in and continue to call names. Okay,
Yep.
I get that.
When the group of kids when I was going through high school bullied me, I was scared to death of the bully, and I was equally scared to death of the 4 or 5 henchmen,
Okay,
or worse.
yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
So then we have the fourth one, the supporter passive bully.
How do you be a passive bully?
Well,
You support it and you encourage it, but this passive bully doesn't actually take an active part, but they're still a bully because in their mind they're thriving off this person getting hurt.
and they're
right?
there and
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
kind of
so
watching.
Yeah.
I can see someone
Excited.
scrolling on Facebook and looking at all of the bullying and going on.
And loving it.
I continue to scroll. Yeah. So,
But they don't take an active part. They leave their name off of it.
So does that mean, Jocelyn, you are the passive supporter?
Yeah, okay. I could be the passive
no, listen, when you look at your Us Weekly magazines, is that
Did
mean,
you?
Did I just called you out on that?
Oh my gosh.
Dr. Taylor, you read Us
The
Weekly?
tabloids.
So do I.
Passive supporter.
So are you a passive supporter for that gossip?
Folks,
or, I mean, for that
Naughty
bullying?
girl, naughty girl. Yes.
Facts-
Us Weekly is fabulous. It's a fabulous tabloid. It is my Bible for knowing what's going on.
Or as they
in
say in the
world.
movie, the reading is the paper, right? It's
Yeah,
the paper.
yeah.
The
Okay.
paper.
The passive
All right.
supporter, they like what they're seeing happening. They like the bullying that they see, but they're just glad it's not them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all of these, minus the victim, folks, are cowards.
I am not a coward when
I'm not calling you a coward, mother-in-law.
yes, you did.
I'm calling anybody who supports bullying and sees it and does nothing.
And can do something.
Is a
about it.
Well, what
coward.
am I
Does
supposed to
nothing.
do?
It's a
Write a
coward.
letter
You
to
can't.
Us Weekly and say, stop this?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not going to do that.
Brittany, tell us more about the disengaged onlooker in the bullies network.
The sixth member of the network is the disengaged onlooker. So they are
What do they do?
they're watching, but they don't take an active part, or
Okay.
right, or
Okay.
sorry. So they're watching, but it's more like, well, it's none of my business.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And again,
I
a coward.
I can't get involved because
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I
there's
might get hurt. Yeah,
And I
you've
think-
seen
Yeah.
situations where someone on the streets of like an inner city, there's been a stabbing, and other people just walk by. You know, that's outrageous to think about, but they would be the ones that would be considered to be the disengaged onlooker.
Yep.
They noticed it, but it's not my business.
And you know
I
what?
think they're afraid.
They're afraid. They run from fear, and you know what I call them? A coward.
Oh, Jonathan, they're not. Maybe they have children at home that they need to protect.
yes.
All I'm saying, you guys, is anybody who supports it and does nothing, even if it's out of fear, they've just further damaged the victim.
So-
what we're saying here
well,
is
what am I
take an act of
supposed to
stand,
do?
huh?
What am I supposed to do
You take
if
an
I'm
act-
walking down the streets of a Salt Lake City
Okay.
or of Boise, Idaho,
Sure.
or of Los Angeles,
Sure.
and I just walk by a stabbing scene? I'm a coward.
If you do nothing about it, absolutely. And that's the point we're trying
Well,
to make here is
We don't agree.
part of the bullying snowball that's become so sophisticated. It's become sophisticated and hard to catch, like tar, because people don't do anything
Oh, okay.
about it.
So I could call the police then.
Oh, sure,
I
yeah.
could do that type
Absolutely,
of thing. Okay.
yeah.
But I don't want to like jump in and try and get in the middle
Stop
of it,
it,
and,
right?
and grab the knife away from the perpetrator.
If it's going to cause you harm, no. But that's why we have
Yeah, okay.
that's why we have people in the network called who are the possible defenders. They
Okay,
dislike.
so let's talk about the defender.
Brittany, what is the possible
So the
defender?
possible
What
defender,
do they do?
they dislike bullying. They think they should help, but they don't.
Okay.
Because of that very reason.
Yeah.
It's
And you can't
I
fault
don't like
them.
it. I want to help, but I can't because
Yeah.
either
Well,
outnumbered or
Their reputation may be at stake if or
I would separate those in two. I think there's a possible defender,
Uh-huh.
one that doesn't like it, but they don't help. But the defender,
yeah,
I
that's
think.
so we said the possible defender.
Okay, but I
Now-
think the defender is the one that jumps in and does try to help.
absolutely.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
as I watch my boys grow up,
Yeah.
they love to fight.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
they
yes,
love
they
to
did.
jump in and defend. That's my brother. I'm going to defend him.
And then the cops would show up
Yeah,
at
and
the
the-
door at 4 a.m.
That's right.
That did happen, yes.
The defender,
Yes.
the defender is a unique human being because they see a couple things that maybe other people don't. First of all, they're enraged. Something morally inside of them says, "No, I can't watch this person be verbally accosted or emotionally abused or beaten up." So they step in, they want to stop and protect the victim, but there's something deeper in a victim. They see the big picture. They know that the victim and the bully themselves or any of the network members, again, it's all about power. And the defender sees even the bully as someone worth saving and thriving again. So that's the defender. They'll step in and stop it. But,
So
yeah.
the reason, I think, the reason why we need to know what these roles are is because when we jump in to try and help, so now we're in an administrative role, or we're in a counseling role, or we're in a teacher role. If we know what that network is and we know the personality style of that child, you can start with the defender and say, I
That's a good
noticed that
point.
you defended. So I'm going to
Yeah.
help. Let's see if we can get other defenders on your side.
good point.
If you've got a passive supporter, or if you've, I wouldn't start with the henchman yet. I would start with the bully.
Mm-hmm.
That bully needs to have some counseling absolutely right away.
Absolutely.
And then start at the other end of the spectrum and then start building skills in how they can help. So that, in my mind, is the reason why we identify the bullying network.
That's a good point.
How do we
Thank you.
fix it?
Well, how do we fix it? How do
Yeah.
we fix it?
Well, we have a we have a 5 proven
Tell us
step
about
program.
the PRIVE, wife.
What is this?
What is the PRIVE?
We have a
PRIVE
PRIVE.
is
We promised you earlier that we'd give you some basic steps that actually do work. You want to call it an anti-bullying program? Here's
No.
ours. It's 5 steps.
Okay,
you know
I
what I mean?
guess.
It's 5 steps.
I just want to call them 5 steps.
Let's call them the 5 steps, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the 5 steps that you can take and
because
start applying.
they're based in the research, right?
They are based in the
They're
research.
based in systems research.
Yeah.
So what's the first one?
The first one, Brittany, you want to tell us what the first one is? Here's your 5 steps we promise to address bullying.
Okay, so you triage, you react.
Oh, I like that.
So you shut it down, right? It's almost like in the medical field when you have an ER patient come in, they go into the emergency room, and you have different departments triaging
Right.
to make sure that that patient's okay.
Yeah.
Same idea. We're going to triage the patient.
And then what?
It's an okay time. It's actually a good time if you're helping stopping a bullying incident. It's okay to be reactive. It's a time to be reactive. Would you agree?
Yeah, so shut
Okay.
it. So you're going to shut it down. You're
Shut
gonna
it down.
Stop the
Stop it.
pain, stop the bleeding, stop the emotional
And then
fear.
what?
Then we move into what we call assessing and being
Yeah.
proactive. We look
Yeah.
we look at the environment that it happened in,
I would look at who's involved,
who's involved,
where it happened, because that could be a possible trigger. If
Sure,
it always
yeah.
happens in the hallway, maybe there's not enough supervision in the hallway.
Cool.
Oh boy, teachers, you get to go out in the hallway even
As
more
well.
often. Yay for you.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
get more extra
So,
duties.
so we assess the situation.
When we think about assessing the situation proactively, looking at it kind of after it's happened, or in an environment where it does a lot, let's take social media, Twitter, Instagram, where people get hurt because of bullying on
Yeah.
social media. We would assess and say, what's the dynamic here?
Yeah,
Where are people
and
coming from?
What were
and
the
so on.
circumstances
That's right.
leading up to
You
this?
have to assess and see. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
Okay.
the third one?
Absolutely.
What's the third one?
Oh, what's the third one?
What's the third one?
Educate
We
and
educate.
prevent.
Educate and prevent.
And this is where we talk about our Shiverby model that you
Yes.
learned about in podcast
Yeah.
2. Yeah, the Shiverby model. It's the invitation. It's the invitation to establish a relationship by learning about the person's identity. Learning their rich personal culture framework through the Shiverby lens, as we talked about. So we want to educate, in our opinion, through getting to know every player, where they're coming
And
from
every
and why.
part of the player.
Right.
Every part of the
cultural
player.
part of the player. It would be
Yes.
interesting to know what the household practices were of the bully. It would be
Yes.
interesting
So
to know what
true.
his interactions are at
Or what they
home.
value.
Yeah.
And it would be interesting to see if he's had any religious training. Because the research shows that if a person has a value and they have behaviors that go against that value, there's some stress involved. So we've got stress coming out all over the place.
You make
there.
a good point too. That when any of a person's Shiverby, for example, their value system gets challenged, or even their belief system, like we talk about, yeah, that confuses a person, because bullying is a very
And they have high rates of stress that go along
high
with it.
rates of
Yeah.
stress. High rates of stress.
So those might be circumstances leading into it. So after we educate, then what do we do?
What do we do, Brittany?
So we reassess.
Well, that makes sense.
So what would we do to reassess?
Well, when I reassess, I use regular intervals. And I take some data and I say, okay, well, now it's time to reassess. Make sure that there's no change, or if there is change, if there's an attitude change. So I would go back to that conversation where I invited the child in to talk about his culture, to understand better, and then I reassess that at regular intervals, and then I take the action that is needed at that time,
It's a necessary step that you describe. We talk about because.
and then I adjust, right?
Well, sure.
Yeah, okay, well,
It-
that makes sense.
If we're a parent, or if we're responsible for a staff or whoever, we want to reassess. We want to go back and check
Absolutely.
regularly and make sure everything's okay. And if what we put in place to educate and prevent bullying isn't happening, we have to reassess that, and then which leads to step 5, which is making adjustments to our bullying.
So I did reassess.
prevention.
When I felt like I had been gaslighted by my boss,
Mm-hmm.
I went to my boss and I said, let me see if I can understand what you were telling me. Did you just say this or this? And she would come back at me and say, I have made it very clear to you. And then she would gaslight me again.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just, so I knew when to pull
We should
my
toilet
punches.
paper her house.
Yeah. Okay,
Which would
former
be just
boss.
another form of bullying, right?
If you get, no, that would be a gift.
How the heck? That's her getting her
Yeah,
comeuppance.
she would have extra toilet paper.
Back in the day, we got away with that.
So,
And I may have done a
so
few
where
of those.
are we? I think we're done.
Well, we are done. We want to wrap this up. We just want
Yeah.
to wrap it up and remind our audience that bullying is a nasty truth. It is a scourge. It's worse than ever.
It's more sophisticated than ever.
At many levels. And
It frustrates people because of the sophistication and
Yes.
because of the new terminology that social media has given us. But that's not going to scare us because the basics still work.
the basics still work.
Go to the basics.
Get it out in the open.
Yeah.
Assess it. Educate about it. Reassess if it's working, and you adjust at all
Just-
times.
yeah. There you go.
We want to adjust because physical, emotional, cultural safety of a person, that is the number one priority with anything we do to address bullying.
Yeah.
To take care of every human involved. And yes, folks, even the bully who has done nasty stuff, and I've had nasty stuff done to me.
Yeah, you have.
So have they, so have you. Even the bully deserves to heal. And when they do,
Yes.
they reach out and they make it right. Bullies deserve a second chance too, but they don't deserve to get away with the crap. And
No,
we're
no,
calling it
That
out.
needs to be stopped.
We're calling it out. So with that, you've learned about some more of the who's who might be bullying in society. You've learned about power imbalance. You've learned about the bullying network, and we've given you a few tools with that. So
Yeah.
with that, we hope this has been
Yay.
good. Reach out to us. Don't forget to hit the link below to our website. Go to our YouTube channel and hit subscribe and like. And until then,
And ring the bell for
And ring the
notifications.
bell.
And we're happy to come on site and work with your folks on this because you would really enjoy us.
absolutely,
Wouldn't they?
absolutely.
Yeah, they would. And we'll
Yep.
tell you even more stories.
We're going to stomp bullying out one step at a time.
Yes.
Yep.
You are.
Take care, everybody. We
All
love
right.
you.
Thanks for being here.
This is where Experience and Passion and Heal. This is the Invite Me In Show.